Hello, my crafty friends. Well, today we are going to make some snowman themed cards. And I have two different card ideas that I want to share with you that feature supplies you may already have on hand. Hi, it's Lynn Dunn from Stamptastic Designs. Thanks so much for joining me today. In this episode of Stamptastic TV, I have two different card ideas I want to share with you that kind of have this snowman theme. So of course, this one is a little snowman that you can create using circle shapes. And so it actually is a standard size card. And this other card idea is one that I've shared with you before. It's just a snowman hat. So you can really decorate these any way you want, but I'm going to show you how to make them with some supplies you probably already have on hand. Now the cards in this video feature some of the die cut shapes from the Snowy Wonder bundle. And the holly berry shape comes from the Reindeer Fun. And then I will be using some of the deckled circle dies just to create the snowman card. So I'm going to show you how to do some partial die cutting with the 4-inch in diameter deckled circle shape. All right, so let me show you how to make these cards. Okay, so first we are going to put together this cute little snowman hat. It's very simple to create. And you can actually use this hat idea for a variety of different holidays. So you're going to start with a piece of black cardstock, which is cut at 5.5 by 8.5, and it's scored in the middle at 4.25 inches. So that is your standard card base. And basically what we're going to do is we're going to use a pencil, and I'm going to use my paper trimmer, and we're going to just draw some pencil lines on here so that we can do some cutting. So I want a little 1-inch brim for the base of this hat. So I'm just going to take my pencil and just kind of run it through my little guide here for cutting and just draw a little pencil line. So this is just 1 inch. And then I'm going to turn and do the same thing on this side. And I only want the pencil line to come to this pencil line. So I'm just lining up the edge at the 1-inch mark. And then we will just draw a pencil line, just a light pencil line down to this other one. And then we're going to do the same thing. We're going to flip it over and do the same thing on this side. We're going to add a little pencil line right there at that 1-inch mark. So you can already see that the hat is starting to take form. So basically you're going to use these pencil lines as a cutting guide. So we're going to line this up and we're just going to cut on that pencil line, and we're going to cut down to this other pencil line. So we don't want to cut all the way down to the bottom. So you just bring your paper trimmer all the way down, and there's a little notch here on the side that shows you exactly where the cutting blade is. So you want that little notch to be lined up with your pencil line down on the bottom. And then you just want to cut this little piece off. So we're going to do the same thing. We're going to bring this and we're going to cut down to that little spot. And that's how you cut out the section. Then you're just going to repeat this on the other side. All right, so now that we have our little hat cut, we are ready to decorate it. So basically you can erase this pencil line if you want to, but we're actually going to end up covering it up anyways. But you can definitely just erase it. So the first thing that I did is I just added a 1/2 inch by 3.5 inch piece of glimmer paper right to the bottom here, right above this 1-inch piece, this 1-inch section on the bottom. The next thing I did is just created some holly and berries using the Reindeer Fun die set. So I'm just going to adhere these together here, and then we'll just pop this up on the card. You can really decorate this with any supplies that you have on hand. All right, so now we can just pop this up on the card. Then on the inside, I just added a 3.25 by 4-inch piece of white cardstock, and I just stamped a little greeting on the inside. So super simple and just a really fun way to create just a little snowman hat. Okay, so this next card idea is just a little snowman card idea, and actually this is standard size. So this is 5.5 and this is 4 inches. So it will fit in a standard size envelope. And you can decorate the inside any way you want, but it basically involves a partial die cutting technique. So we're gonna start with that. All right, so for this technique, you're going to start with another standard card base. So this is just a 5.5 by 8.5 inch piece of white cardstock scored in the middle at 4.25 inches. And this time we're going to use one of the deckled circle dies, and we're gonna do a little partial die cutting. So right here on the fold is where I want my circle shape to just kind of hang off a little bit, because if you lay it right in the center, it's just gonna cut out the circle. So you wanna have it laying off a little bit so that it leaves you this little hinge here for your card. So let's run this through our embossing machine. Okay, so now that we have sent this through the embossing machine, you'll see that because I left that die just kind of hang off the edge, I have a nice little hinge here for my snowman card. So let's go ahead and decorate this. Let's create the little hat. So to create the hat, you're going to cut a 3.25 by 2.5 inch piece. And so basically I want this up at the top of my little circle shape. So we are going to glue this right to the top of this circle shape. So I'm going to add some glue right across there, and we're just going to glue this on the top. Next, you're going to add a 3/4 by 4 inch piece of black cardstock. So this is going to be the brim of the hat. So we want to add some glue here, and then we want a little bit of glue up here. And then we'll just add that little brim. And then you can use the same holly berry that we used for the last card. You can just add that to the brim. And then I cut some 3/4 inch circle shapes for the eyes. Now I used an old punch, a 3/4 inch circle punch. However, you can use the Snowy Wonder die set. In this particular die set, there is a little wreath, a little circle shape, and it will work perfect to make the little eyes for the snowman. So you can definitely do that. The other thing in this particular set is that there is a little Christmas tree that I cut out of some pumpkin pie cardstock. So this is the little Christmas tree die. And I thought that this made just a really cute little nose for the snowman. You just cut off the trunk of the tree, and then you have his little carrot nose. So since I'm working with white on white, I decided to just use my black Stampin' Up marker just to kind of highlight the edge of these little circle shapes, because I just kind of felt like the eyes blended in a little bit too much and they were kind of hard to see. So I just ran my little black marker around the eye just so that it gives it a little bit of definition. So the next thing I did is I actually colored some little gems with my Stampin' Blend marker. So you can just use the dark basic black, and you can color any kind of gem that you have to create just these cute little eyes. And I just kind of put these eyes so that they overlapped a little bit. Just kind of put them together like that so they overlap. Then you can go ahead and add the little carrot nose. And then the last thing you want to do is you want to take some smaller gems that you used for the eyes, and you just want to color a bunch of those and then add the mouth for the snowman. And that's how simple it is to create this adorable little snowman. Isn't he cute? Okay, so there you go. Now you have two different card ideas that you can create with pretty much any supplies that you have on hand. And if you enjoyed these card ideas, feel free to download the printable tutorial. You can find the link in the description below this video. Thanks so much for joining me today. If you enjoyed this video, please let me know by liking it and sharing it with your friends. And leave me a comment below to let me know what you enjoyed most about the video and the cards shared here today. Have a fun and creative day, my friends. Take care.